Say goodbye to daily insulin injections and simplify life with diabetes with Omnipod. It's a tubeless waterproof pod that provides insulin without multiple daily injections. Now is the time to try it with a free no-commitment 30-day Omnipod DASH trial. Go to omnipod.com/free for risk information, instructions for use, and free trial terms and conditions. Consult your healthcare provider before starting on Omnipod. Simplify diabetes. Simplify life. Omnipod.
When you're faced with a problem, it is common to doubt yourself, to ask if you can overcome it, if you're strong enough, if you have the support you need. But if you're one of over 400 million people living today with diabetes, you might ask if this disease could ever be defeated. But what if overcoming problems was not a question of if, but how? We are not asking if we can prevent diabetes. We are asking how. We are not asking if we can innovate treatment. We are asking how. We are not asking if we can make insulin more accessible. We are asking how. We are not asking if we can defeat diabetes. We are asking how. And we will keep going until all that is left is to explain how we did it.
Diabeloop is furthering scientific advances to relieve the burden of insulin-dependent diabetes. Every person living with type 1 diabetes should be able to spend less time and worry managing their condition.
DBLG1 automatically fine-tunes my insulin delivery so I can exercise without interruption.
DBLG1 uses artificial intelligence to optimize my time in range so I can meet my challenges without interruption.
Say goodbye to daily insulin injections and simplify life with diabetes with Omnipod. It's a tubeless waterproof pod that provides insulin without multiple daily injections. Now is the time to try it with a free no-commitment 30-day Omnipod DASH trial. Go to omnipod.com/free for risk information, instructions for use, and free trial terms and conditions. Consult your healthcare provider before starting on Omnipod. Simplify diabetes. Simplify life. Omnipod.
When you're faced with a problem, it is common to doubt yourself, to ask if you can overcome it, if you're strong enough, if you have the support you need. But if you're one of over 400 million people living today with diabetes, you might ask if this disease could ever be defeated. But what if overcoming problems was not a question of if, but how? We are not asking if we can prevent diabetes. We are asking how. We are not asking if we can innovate treatment. We are asking how. We are not asking if we can make insulin more accessible. We are asking how. We are not asking if we can defeat diabetes. We are asking how. And we will keep going until all that is left is to explain how we did it.
Diabeloop is furthering scientific advances to relieve the burden of insulin-dependent diabetes. Every person living with type 1 diabetes should be able to spend less time and worry managing their condition.
DBLG1 automatically fine-tunes my insulin delivery so I can exercise without interruption.
DBLG1 uses artificial intelligence to optimize my time in range so I can meet my challenges without interruption.
Say goodbye to daily insulin injections and simplify life with diabetes with Omnipod. It's a tubeless waterproof pod that provides insulin without multiple daily injections. Now is the time to try it with a free no-commitment 30-day Omnipod DASH trial. Go to omnipod.com/free for risk information, instructions for use, and free trial terms and conditions. Consult your healthcare provider before starting on Omnipod. Simplify diabetes. Simplify life. Omnipod.
When you're faced with a problem, it is common to doubt yourself, to ask if you can overcome it, if you're strong enough, if you have the support you need. But if you're one of over 400 million people living today with diabetes, you might ask if this disease could ever be defeated. But what if overcoming problems was not a question of if, but how? We are not asking if we can prevent diabetes. We are asking how. We are not asking if we can innovate treatment. We are asking how. We are not asking if we can make insulin more accessible. We are asking how. We are not asking if we can defeat diabetes. We are asking how. And we will keep going until all that is left is to explain how we did it.
Gala is furthering scientific advances to relieve the burden of insulin-dependent diabetes. Every person living with type 1 diabetes should be able to spend less time and worry managing their condition.
DBLG1 automatically fine-tunes my insulin delivery so I can exercise without interruption.
DBLG1 uses artificial intelligence to optimize my time in range so I can meet my challenges without interruption.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Marjorie's Fun Virtual Gala in Austin 2021. My name is Cherise Shockley, and I will be your MC for the evening. Before we get started, there's something that's very important that I have to share with you. And it's basically how you bid on the silent auction. So all you have to do is type marjorie's.cbo.io, and you can see it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And to donate now, visit cbo.io/D Marjorie's or text the word Marjorie's to number 56651. And I would like to thank Peter for all of the behind the scenes work. He's probably not going to be happy with me, but I wanted to make sure I threw some ego cookies his way because he is phenomenal, and Marjorie's Fund is definitely lucky to have him. So before we get started, a little bit about myself. My name is Cherise Shockley. Once again, I was diagnosed with latent autoimmune diabetes in adults back in 2004. I stumbled across this amazing community called the Diabetes Online Community back in 2008 when I became insulin dependent. And shortly after, I started the world's first Twitter chat, which is called DSMA. And then I went on to create the Blue Fridays initiative for people with diabetes to wear blue every Friday. And also at the time I had a radio show, which this is pretty interesting because I'm going to tell you how and why I'm here. So during the radio show, I had the honor of interviewing Sandy and Dr. Baker. And this conversation was pretty phenomenal. I got to learn about Marjorie's Fund, which going forward, I'm going to call it MFund because it sounds hip and modern. And I got to learn all about this amazing foundation that was set up to help people with diabetes in Uganda. So with that being said, I would love to welcome Jason and Sandy on the screen.
Well, hello, Cherise.
Hey, how you doing, Cherise? How are ya?
Hi, 30 years in air. I am doing well. I'm doing well. I am so happy to be here. And thank you for trusting me to MC this amazing gala and auction, which the auction items are thebomb.com. I know I'm showing my age by saying thebomb.com.
No. Listen, anybody who's going to do an MC with an exercise bike behind her is awesome in my book. That means that you're working it at all times. See, in between takes when Cherise is off camera, she's back there riding her bike, I think, right? Like you're working it out. I love it.
Yes. I have to. It's the way that we manage and keep things straight, because if not, I could be coasting on a high, and I don't want to coast on a high. I like to maintain as close in range as possible.
You got it. And it's crazy. You mentioned in the end of the prior segment just how you originally met us. And I think Sane and I were talking about it the other day. It's nuts how many years have gone by, that on that program, right? When you brought us on the radio show, that's what brought us to Kasese, which is where we have our major center right now, which we've talked to our supporters about over the years. And it's because of you, Cherise, that those people heard about us and why we ended up there. So, you've been part of the Marjorie's Fund family for years. So we're really excited to have you here.
Yes, absolutely. And I think I always say to Jason, I said, really, our work found us. And they, rather than us going and seeking it out. And at the time we talked to you, it was nearly 10 years ago. We had just started. We were just figuring out what programs were needed, where we were needed, and the need and the work found us. And we, our passion project really took off from there.
That's right.
There's a lot of it had to do. In fact, all of it, especially in Uganda, had to do with that radio show and somebody across the globe listening to this show and reaching out to us saying, you can help us.
And I'm partial to somebody with a Southern twang, I might say. I like the accent.
Well, it's funny because like this accent, I didn't know I had it until I went to basic training. So I don't know if you all knew this or not. I was in the Army Reserve, and I didn't realize I had an accent until someone from the East Coast was like, "Are you from the South?" I was like, "No, I'm actually from Kansas City, Missouri." So I have no clue where I picked it up.
Oh, yeah, you betcha. As the Minnesotan comes out of me, you can move wherever you want, but your roots stay with you, right?
Right.
Yes, I definitely agree, which is a good segue up into the next slide. So Sandy, let's hear all about the community.
Right. Wherever we are, and especially during this pandemic, we've learned we're all so, physically distant, but socially we stay connected, right? And it has really brought home to us how important it is to be together in all kinds of situations, no matter where you are. And as you can see from these pictures, many of our diabetes community, the people we work with, whether they're our local partners or beneficiaries, live in right now anyway in Uganda, in Kasese, which is the southwest of Uganda, very close to the Congo border, and in Rwanda. And our mission, as I said, found us really. Our work found us, and what we really are focusing on our 3 program areas, all geared to empowering adolescents and adults living with diabetes to thrive, our healthcare access, diabetes education, and economic empowerment, right? We work to ensure that people get their insulin, test strips, all of that treatment supplies, as well as access to some amount of healthcare, just getting their blood pressure checked, their weight checked, whatever it is, and then getting the education that goes with it. But not just the patients, the families, the healthcare providers, those that need to help take care of people with diabetes, and especially those who will have to take insulin, whether they're type 1 or type 2, and whatever type it is, all those folks that just need so much help in managing this chronic condition. And the goal, again, is just that they are going to be motivated and empowered. And part of that is to ensure that we have community as well as vocational training programs, community economic programs like piece of land that's growing a cash crop, or vocational training, whether it's the tailoring that you see here, or creating necklaces and beads and bracelets, etc. So that's really the focus of our program. And for this event today, we really want to focus on one aspect of this program, which really has been dictated to some extent based on what has happened during the pandemic. We've had people, we've usually brought insulin and supplies with us sometimes, and then also we partner with Insulin for Life USA when we bring, when they get people in Uganda get shipments, right, of supplies. And Jason, wouldn't you say this picture?
Oh, yeah.
What it's like when we open those packages.
Listen, Sandy. I mean, this picture, this was a pre-COVID picture, right? But I mean, this is a picture of the core group of diabetes leaders in Kasese who make our work possible. Right. And this was a picture after we arrived on one trip with some of the supplies that we brought with us. But, as Sandy said, look at those smiles. Like, I can't even tell you what big smile was behind the camera. And I think the picture's okay. So that was probably one I took, Sandy, right? Not you. I'm just kidding. Sandy's an okay picture taker. But so, as Sandy said, one of the reasons why we have you guys come into this, or we've asked you for your support, is for people like this right on the screen. And we made tonight about one arm of our mission, which is the insulin and test strip project that we have ongoing in Uganda, which, is actually pretty darn pricey, right, Sandy, from our end. And up to now, pre-COVID, we had a model where the people who were receiving these strips, and there's about 150 folks who are part of this program in Kasese, they were kind of also contributing to part of the cost. And as they earn more money, they were contributing to more cost. And so as COVID came around, it really wiped out their ability to contribute. So we as an organization didn't want any interruption in these strips and supplies. And we weren't able to physically go and bring supplies with us for the past year and a half, right, Sandy? So we had to do a lot more sending of resources on this front to them and to ensure. And that's why tonight is all about making sure that test strip and insulin access is not diminished, but only hopefully after tonight expanded.
Right. And Jason, I just wanted to point out too, is in this picture, the second from the right is Robert, who is the executive director of the DCA, has had type 1 for many years. And he was the one who actually heard the program along with Manfred, who's on the far right, who we had honored actually at one of our galas. So he's the nurse who comes to Cassese to help this team out. And the two of them were the ones who reached out to us, Cherise, after having heard your radio program.
That's right. That's right. And that's Robert's little kid right next to him, a little munchkin. And now they have this thriving family and center, and it's really going back to that original connection. And it's really because of all the supporters and the reason for tonight, why we're here.
Yeah. And the first time we visited, we saw where things were getting stored, right? And I
was going to say, this really brings me to think about actually Sandy, our honoree, right? Because one of our honorees, Samantha Shanken Baker, who we're going to welcome to the stage, the virtual stage in a few minutes, was one of the people who donated a refrigerator. So, when we first met this group, Sandy, right, these folks they had styrofoam boxes with ice that they had to have a rotating group of folks to make sure didn't get hot. And so a lot of their time was spent making sure that the insulin didn't go bad. And so a big part of this was getting them good refrigerators and actually electricity, which was sustainable and that we have in our center as well. Right. And remember this picture, Sandy, on the right there with Eric's house, right?
Yes. And that's where he stores his insulin, just sort of underneath a little table in a mud area, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, that's the thing that blows me away. I mean, I have a refrigerator to put my insulin in, right? And look at the center, there's a refrigerator that is storing the insulin that then is distributed to the patients. But when the patients take it with them, they don't have a refrigerator, but they are in it to win it, and they figure out how to make that insulin last and stay good. So even in that 95-degree heat, when you and I are melting, and they figure out a way to keep that insulin cool in those clay pots and underneath. And so it's pretty amazing what people do with very little. And that's why what we can do can go a long way, right?
And it does. So you see all of the people who actually come to the center and receive their testing and treatment supplies. You see people getting their syringes, everything from the center. And I mean, some of them walk 3-4 hours, sometimes each way.
Yeah.
To the center, walk, take a bodo, which is one of those motorcycles, and take a bus, share rides. It's a lot. And so they can get their month's worth of supplies, get a vial of insulin and test strips.
And I can't imagine, right, going out without insulin. I mean, without it, I would die. And without it, these people would die. And so to ever feel like that supply chain is going to be interrupted, I mean, that just sends shockwaves through anybody who has diabetes, who's on insulin and relies on insulin to manage it.
Right.
So, this program is really life-saving for these folks. And this was actually part of what we wanted to show, because we don't just distribute the insulin, but we actually help to teach people how to use it and how to monitor their blood sugar with the supplies that we give them. So this is Robert, who we mentioned earlier, that had brought us, first reached out to us, one of the peer educators at our diabetes center with type 1, teaching another newly diagnosed type 1 how to check his blood sugar. And we actually made a video of this, right, Sandy, that we show at the center to educate others?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we did. And, that this is key. And one of the things that we really want to point out again is how much they help each other. So this isn't about us just going in there and saying, okay, here's insulin, here's chest strips. But they really strive to pull their own weight to make sure that they can get care. And again, just us being there is so much a sense of support for them. And really, I mean, the joy when we go there, it's incredible. I mean, I have missed it. It's been 2.5 years almost, I think, since we've been.
I know.
And we cannot wait. And,
I'm itching to get on that airplane, and I'm hoping in the first quarter next year. But I also just wanted to give props to the local healthcare providers at all of these sites. We are just coming in where we are needed, and all of our partner NGOs as well. We all work together because, look, this problem is too big and too vast for any one entity to stomp it out and help to make sure that everybody has a chance to thrive with type 1. So props to the local healthcare providers, the governments with whom we work, and all of the institutions that we partner with as well in all these projects.
Absolutely. We're only a conduit.
Yep. But
none of that would be possible without your support.
That's right. That's why we're here, right, San?
Right.
I mean, I know that. So there's a secret. Sandy loves planning galas. She wishes that we'd have a gala about every month. Now, you might notice a little bit of that's a bit of a joke, but we know that we need to have these things, and we look forward to having one live again next year. But it's because of these things, which is the major part of our fundraising for the course of the year, that we can have numbers like what you see up here on the screen, and only since the 2020 lockdowns, right? So only in the past year, you can see some numbers which have only grown since this slide is made. We have over 400 patients who are able to access consistent testing and treatment supplies, because of these projects that you support. We do a lot of other work, but again, without your support, this project would not be continuing. And so we are very thankful to all of you for that.
Absolutely. And, we say 400, and I know we feel great that we've come so far, especially again from really trying to find out who to help and then helping people. But gosh, wouldn't I love that? And wouldn't you, Jason, for it to be 4,000 or 40,000?
Oh man, I dream of that. You know what, Sandy? We want to we want to replicate this center in lots of different places. And while COVID gave us a little swift kick in the rear end, we're going to kick it back, right? So we are looking forward to the next year after that, with only expanding the footprint of these projects. And again, thanks to all of you.
Right. And as we say that, we still, as we focus on the insulin and test strips, we still have so much other stuff that continues to need to happen, right? So we still need Manfred, the nurse, to come to the clinic, which we are now running twice a week. So 104 clinic sessions. But really, all it takes is 4,500 for the entire year to make sure that clinic can run, so the nurse can be paid to come there, right?
Yep. It doesn't. I mean, it is a busy clinic, and we, every one of our patients run through that center, every month, and it's a twice weekly clinic now that's only expanded, as we've told you before, at our program updates during COVID. So, at these clinics is when we distribute that insulin, those supplies, those life-sustaining supplies that we're fundraising for tonight.
Right, and we still have, a lot of different areas where we can support people with, screen and treat one person for retinopathy, do a year's worth of vocational training and medical care in Kampala. And just $25 a month, we can support one person fully for insulin strips, syringes, hand sanitizer, as well as getting to the clinic. So do not think that any amount is too small. Every little bit goes a very, very long way for us.
Absolutely. $25 a month. What can we compare that to in our lives here in the region of New York, right? Like a couple of visits to Starbucks, right? Like, I mean, and that's, it just blows my mind. Again, a little goes a long way, right, Sandy?
Right. Absolutely. And that said, I think that's why we are doing a lot of our work. But we also always talk about the fact that we get inspired when we go. But it seems, Jason. that others get inspired by the work we do.
Yeah, that's right. And the next segment is a pretty amazing kid. I'll call him a kid because he's young. He's 18 years young. His name is Mark Godley. He's a guy who's had type 1 for many years, as mentioned. He lives in the UK, and he heard about us as an organization. And the reason why we really wanted to feature him is that he is putting together a new book that is going to talk about how he has struggled with type 1, but overcome those struggles in part because of his access to resources. So we're really excited to kind of feature this up and coming diabetes advocate and talk a bit about his work. I've interviewed him for a couple of minutes here, but we wanted to bring him in as just as an inspiration for everybody as listening tonight. So take it away, Mark.
So I'm excited at this point in the program to be welcoming Mark Godley, who's based in the UK and who is a person living with type 1 diabetes for the past now almost 12 years, diagnosed at the age of 6, currently 18 years young. Oh, to be 18. Mark, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Well, we're excited to have you, and we wanted to bring you on to the program because your story is really inspirational, and I think sharing your experiences of living with type 1 and talking a little bit more about how you've used your own experiences to create a platform to teach others how to have a chance to thrive with type 1. And we wanted to talk a little bit about the project you've been working on and the book that you're putting together that you've entitled The Willpower to Reach Further. I just think, having read some of the excerpts from this so far, we know it's not yet in publication, but we see the prototype picture down here, which looks inspirational in and of itself. We're just excited to hear a little bit more about that and about you and about your experience with living with type 1.
Of course. Well, living with type 1 isn't always easy, as many of the audience will know. And at times it does take a toll on you mentally and physically. And so I wanted to write, well, it started off as a project, but essentially I've turned it into a book. And I wanted to write a book on helping to empower teenagers and young adolescents in taking ownership of their diabetes and essentially just a way to educate themselves on how to improve their day-to-day life and really embrace everything that they have available to them, because it's obviously easier said than done, but I mean, I'd much rather live a really enjoyable life and live like a lot longer than usual than if you just do the bare minimum and just kind of like just about get away with it, and then you have loads of complications in the future. So I wrote this book, and it talks about, like I stated previously, the right attitude, education, embracing technology, and I think the really important one is adopting a role model, because when times are rough, having a role model is absolutely necessary. Looking up to someone, trying to envision being them, trying to emulate them wherever possible is really, really key. And
I would have to say too, to just interject for a second, just because I want to tell the audience that you yourself are a role model, my friend. I mean, just what you've been doing is great. And I mean, this 100 years after we've had access to insulin, right? I mean, Mark, you talk about how, lucky you've been in the UK health system to have access to insulin and all the things you need to be able to thrive, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, we get given everything from the NHS practically for free, from insulin vials to CGMs, the pumps, to everything. So when I started doing research, it really blew my mind how a lot of people out there in the world who live in rural areas just really do not have access to anything like at all. And it just really stunned me as to how have they been surviving all this time, if they have been surviving. And so this really came and this is essentially how I found the Marjorie Fund, because I just find what you guys do is absolutely amazing, and I could not believe that not more funds do this.
Well, I mean, listen, we appreciate that, but again, I would throw it right back at you. I mean, the fact that you are 18, motivated and thinking beyond yourself and thinking of others, and I think it's awesome. And I think we would love it if you could share an excerpt from what you've been writing. I think that people would be motivated by it, and please, if you're comfortable, please share.
Yeah, no, of course, absolutely. So I'll just read a short extract from the conclusion of my book. If I could go back in time to that fateful day of 15th of April 2010, when I was first diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, what would I now tell a young Mark on that day? And what have I learned about diabetes that I didn't know back then? I would tell myself to stay calm and that diabetes is not the end of my life, but in fact a new beginning. Listen, Mark, I would say, you cannot hate your diabetes because it's now part of you, but your quality of life will get better and you will still be able to achieve all of your dreams. Don't worry. Even if you will have to walk down winding roads and experience frustrating days, you will get there. Believe me, you have what it takes to embark on this tough journey. Now, 11 years later, I know that I am who I am because of diabetes, and I believe that I am now better than who I was yesterday because of this book. An important lesson I have learned is that we are not all born equal when it comes to accessing the same level of medical resources. Where you are born often determines your access to opportunities, and in that sense, life is similar to a lottery. Even if we are not all born with equal opportunities, we all have the power to achieve amazing things. Nevertheless, we need to open our eyes and our hearts to both children and adults with diabetes in developing countries who are very often who don't even have access to insulin and other medical equipment to stay alive. Diabetes is not only our priority, but it is to them too. It's crucial that we find the courage to make a positive impact on not only our lives, but also the lives of others who are still struggling from lack of treatment. In life, it's all about progress and right choices, not necessarily about perfection. I have to keep on living well today, be grateful for yesterday, and finally dream big and pay it forward in the future. As Ralph Emerson quoted, the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. I wish you all the best in transforming your own lives and choose wisely. Over to you now, Mark.
Wow. Listen, to all you watching tonight and joining us on our gala, watch out for this guy, Mark Godley, the willpower to reach further. Mark, it's an honor to have you here. I think your story is inspirational to so many people, including my pooch outside. And it all comes back, right? 100 years and the dog with insulin, right? But
of course. Yes,
exactly.
Of course.
Well, thank you for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing this publication and hearing a lot more about you. Mark Godley, have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, and to everyone out there as well.
Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Mark Godley. I will tell you, as a person living with diabetes and who has access and privilege to the things that I need to manage my diabetes, he hit the hammer on the nail, and I can see why Jason is in awe of this young man. Marjorie's Fund does amazing things by giving people what they need to manage diabetes so that they're thriving and living, right, with the education and access to the things that, I mean, I was just looking at the slide with the young man and where he stores his insulin, where I can just walk to the refrigerator and open the butter compartment and have access. It's there. Or if I didn't, I can go to the hospital or I can go somewhere to get it. And to see all the work that Jason and Sandy and team has been doing for the past few years and even during COVID is phenomenal. So when Mark's book come out, we'll make sure that we send you the link to it, because I have a good feeling that it's going to be a great read. Because even if you don't have diabetes, inspiration and the willpower to live and to move on is something I think we all can look forward to each day. So everybody, once again, we are excited. Silent auction time. You can do two things. You can do three things. You can bid on the silent auction at marjories.cbo.io, or you can donate now by visiting cbo.io/d/Marjories, or you can text the word Marjories to number 56651. So let's think about this. Who has not wanted to take a vacation, stuck in the house with your kids, have to go outside to get a break, or Zoom fatigue? No one wants to deal with Zoom fatigue. So 2 nights at Half Moon Jamaica Luxury Montego Bay Beach Resort. Let's think about this. 2 nights away from, you can take your spouse with you, you can take your friend, you can go by yourself. But I highly recommend that you take and paddle away and go bid on that number 183. And once again, silent auction. I believe that this is available for a year. So if you're not too sure if you want to try, up next, we have the Inn at Perry Cabin Resort. Just imagine sipping wine on 26 acres of forest and farmland along the beautiful river, Miles River, in the Maryland's Eastern Shore. Once again, you can go rent this yacht, go party like your I was about to say Bennifer. See, once again, showing my age. Anybody out there happy that Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are back together? Yes, that's me, which is why I kind of referenced that with this shot. So highly recommend. Vacation, we all need it. Treat yourself. It's been a long year for everyone. Go bid on this amazing resort. Once again, the options that you have available to donate and to bid on the auction is listed and scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Okay. Hi, Sandy. Are you going to go bid on this lovely trip?
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, all of these trips, and we have so many on the silent auction item. So I think I'm kind of going to watch, because it's going to stay open for 2 weeks.
Wow, 2 weeks.
No, so we have a great opportunity.
All right, well, I'm going to throw it back to you. Remember, go bid, everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to introduce our first honoree for the night, Crispin Gishoma. He has been involved in the Rwanda Diabetes Association since 1997. And the mission of the RDA is to improve the well-being of impoverished and young people living with diabetes in Rwanda. And he really, Crispin has started off as a volunteer. He started in 2012 as the director of the RDA. And we met him back in 2012, 2013. And we've really seen the growth, of everything he's done. And now he does everything: healthcare services, he does human resources, finances, communication, everything. And really just he and his wife, Alana, and now the 2 kids, 2 little babies are just, they're great hosts. And I'm going to let Crispin talk a little bit about himself in this next video.
Good evening. My name is Crispin Gishoma, and I am the chair of the board of Rwanda Diabetes Association. I used to be the director of Rwanda Diabetes Association from 2012 and till 2018. I was also working for the Diabetes Association for almost the last 20 years. And I'm very happy to be the guest of this gala, and especially for for Marjorie's Fund, an organization that I have a very high esteem. When I joined the Diabetes Association, we had different programs, and the majority of the programs we used to run were most of the time linked to the healthcare, including providing insulin, glucose meters, education, and so forth. And we have helped many people. So I would say roughly about 2,000 people were regularly helped by the association in Rwanda. It's very important to find the medication and healthcare needed, but also I realized that the patient is it's not only one person who's concerned by the disease, but also the family and whole environment. And the development of the patient is linked to all of that. I would say especially economically and also socially. And I found out that most of the organizations that we were working with were only oriented to that sense of medical support. And I met Jason Baker in 2013 in the conference that was organized by International Diabetes Federation in Tanzania. That's where I met Jason, and we started to discuss about how we can collaborate together. By then, I remember in 2012, I had initiated something called diabetes camps. During the diabetes camps, we were providing education to live better with the disease, and but we were not providing enough skills that will help them to find jobs, and this was also a high concern for me and the people I was working with. And then when I met Jason, we started to design something new, which does not exist anywhere in Africa, and we started to run the camps for many months, where we were providing both diabetes education, but as well as the vocational trainings. And the people who graduated from that trainings were equipped with enough skills to go on the labor market and start to be very to be productive in their lives. Let me give you maybe an example of how our collaboration with the Marjorie's Fund changed some of the lives of the people living with diabetes in Rwanda. So usually when a patient is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes or or type 2 diabetes, those who are going to school, they stop schools, those who are employed stop going to work. And if they don't have any other alternative solution to manage beta diabetes, they will never go back to their normal and usual lives. One patient called Cecile, she was living very far from Kigali, and her diabetes was not well managed. And we enrolled her in the Diabetes Education Center for about 1 year. And when she went back, she started her own business, and she started to do tailoring and cross-borders business between Rwanda and Burundi and Congo. And this training in itself, it provided skills, but she gained enough confidence to start over her way. And now she's a mother, and she has a family, and she's taking care of her loved ones because she got a chance to be in that center. We are currently working on another project which is going to bring in sensors to the patients who use insulin, especially type 1 diabetics. And this is a new technology in Rwanda. So we are moving very fast, and I'm happy that we are working with an organization which is run by people who also live with diabetes. It is a such honor to work with Marjorie's Fund because we have the same understanding of the situation of the people living with diabetes in Rwanda, and we find solutions which are appropriate to the people. I would like to thank everyone who supports Marjorie's Fund, because I myself who's regularly involved in the support, I know how much it means to the people living with diabetes, and thank you very much.
Wow. Listen to Crispin. I want to be like Crispin when I grow up. I mean, and Jason and Sandy, you weren't lying when you said your work finds you. It seems like you all are always at the right place at the right time. And Crispin, I can tell him and his community are benefiting from the great work and the hard work that you all do. And thank you so much to everyone out there who's listening and who has supported Marjorie's Fund in the past and currently in the future. So let's talk about the silent auction. Yes, everybody, New York is opening back up. Who would not like a trip to New York, or if you live across the bridge like Sandy does, a dinner for 4 or a Broadway gift card? But you can kind of do both of them. You can buy the gift card or bid on the gift card, win the gift card, and bid on dinner. Why not? You haven't treated yourself in a very long time. Once again, to bid on this, go to marjories.cbo.io. You can see it there. Once again, these funds will go to help healthcare access, diabetes education, and economic empowering, which is something that is pretty unique about Marjorie's Fund. Is you hear about people and organizations donating things to people in under-resourced and underserved countries, but to actually support income-generating projects so that they can, once they receive treatment and receive the things that they need, they can actually maintain. So kudos to Jason and Sandy for making sure that there's some economic empowerment for people. Also, once again, this auction will be live for the next 2 weeks. So if you left your wallet in the car, you can definitely have time to come bid on this. Next slide. So another auction item, 5-night stay and wine. I'm not a wine drinker, so I'm not sure what wine tastes like, but I know a lot of people, Jason, who love wine. So why not take an opportunity? Even if Indonesia is not your place to be,
Listen, I could see myself right up on in there next to the pool and, having a little, what my kids call my baba. And, this, I got to say, like, we're hoping that tonight you guys watching this will economically empower us by getting all these silent auction items and help us to do our work. But, Cherise, you're doing an awesome job teeing all this stuff up. But, the next honoree that I know we're going to be talking about, Samantha Shanken Baker, it's a perfect segue to have her come on because Sam, and I call her Sam, she's a dear friend of mine. We've gotten to know each other very well over the years. She has a current and a life amidst the higher end cuisine and wine world of New York, and frankly, the world, knows all the top chefs, has organized multiple food and culinary events around the city and around the country. Really a maven in that space. But Samantha is also a person living with type 1 who likes to give back. I've gotten to know her for many years. She became involved in Marjorie's Fund, having chaired many of our last galas, 2018, 2019, 2020. I mean, and Samantha brings it. She joined our board in 2018, and she just is a person with a huge heart, and again, a fascinating and motivational figure that we wanted you to meet tonight. So Sam, join me on stage.
Hi, Jason.
Hey,
Nice
how you doing, amiga?
Good. Now I have to follow Crispin and Mark. I don't
Well,
even
listen.
know how to do so.
Well, you know what? I don't think that's going to be a hard thing. That's going to be a hard sell at all. But welcome to our gala tonight, Sam.
Thank you. It's been great so far.
I think so too. I think Cherise is doing a pretty darn good job.
Yeah,
You know,
all the auction items and everything.
I agree. Now, Sandy advancing the slides, I'm not so sure. I'm just kidding, Sandy. You know, I love you. So, you know, Samantha, I wanted to ask you a little bit about just your diagnosis. You know, tell us just a little bit about when you first found out you had diabetes, a little bit about your history with it.
Okay. So I was diagnosed in 1988, 1990, 1989. I had diabetes for a long time before I was actually diagnosed and sent to, a lot of people know Dr. Andy Drexler.
Yep.
And, you know, he really kind of saved my life because when he called and said, you know, you have diabetes, I dropped the phone and gave it to my mother. I'm like, I don't know what that is. And, you know, I had all the signs, all the symptoms. I even had a poster in my little room at home that said, this is what low blood sugar is, and this is what high blood sugar is.
Wow.
So, and then Dr. Drexler really said to me, he goes, if you want to eat dinner tonight, here's, you know, here's what you need to take a shot and some insulin, have a good time. And I was like, oh my God, I have to give myself a shot. And my mother and my sister were there and I did it for the first time. And I was like, that's not so bad. But I do remember one thing, and that's back in the way, you know, 1989, like your blood sugar meter was like a phone book. It's like nothing like what we have today. It's like you were schlepping around like, you know, a 3 pounds like thing. And I think it was all really scary for me, you know?
I can imagine. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, I remember my own diagnosis having a similar thing. It was like a sink or swim moment, right, Sam? I mean, and you, it sounds like though you were plugged in pretty early into a world where you had what you needed. You had access to the best of the best, which was available at the time, right?
Yeah, I was very lucky.
Yeah. And so, I mean, amidst that, like, what is the most, I like to think about diabetes as making our lives better, right? Like, because it's a challenge, right? It's a pain in the butt. Right. But, you know, what is something about diabetes that you think has enriched your life?
Enriched my life.
Yeah.
You know, I've also had a kidney transplant 4 years ago. And one of the things that I feel lucky about is, although sometimes it's difficult, you know, I have access, you know, to all the medication I need, to my insurance. Yep. I have a great support system, but I cannot imagine being in a resource poor country where, I mean, you don't have access to those things that you need to live, you know, and traveling so far. I think the first thing that I had was education, like obviously to know the difference between lows and highs, and figuring out what my blood sugar meant every day. I think those things, you know, really enrich me because I had knowledge. And if people don't have that, you know, it's very hard.
Yeah. Hard, impossible, I would say, right? Like, I just, you know, you've always struck me as somebody, Samantha, who is, you know, you are so upbeat whenever I see you. And I know you've been through a lot. I mean, you mentioned your kidney transplant. I know that there have been a lot of things that you've had to deal with, and you come out of it smiling, and a lot of people don't. And you give back. You always give back, which honestly, it blows my mind. And you've inspired me. if I'm ever feeling sorry for myself in some way or challenged, just to think about how you're handling it and how you're sitting here and you've continued to support our organization over the years. I mean, honestly, I think you're pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's enlightening, to find out that there's people out there and organizations that really care. That Sandy put up a slide earlier that is like, it's all about like, instead of surviving, thriving. And then, you need economic independence, you need education, you need knowledge, you need people to be there for you, and who also have type 1, who you can talk to about it. I think that's really important. I have friends who are both diabetic, type 1s and not. And they all know like how grouchy I get when I need to eat. You compare, you're like, why did my blood sugar go up?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
it's a convenient excuse sometimes though too, right? If you're just in a bad mood.
There's no reason. Blood sugar is like this thing that floats around that like you're not really sure what's happening all the time.
Exactly. And, just being able to test and know. And that's why, we are making it a point of tonight about, making the fundraiser about helping other people to have the ability to test and to know how to appropriately dose insulin. Now, I know you are honoree, but, I know that you're also a very benevolent person, and not to put you too much on the spot, Sam, so you want to reach through and slap me across the face of the screen here. But, we're going to be, after this segment, kicking off a paddle raise where we try to, specifically raise money around the subject of the gala. So, are you interested in kicking that off with a little something?
I am great with kicking that off. I just want to let everyone know this is one of the organizations that's not about overhead. It's not about, oh, where's your money go? Like, I don't want to give to someone that, takes it and then it's for staff, it's for general, it's for this. So I'd like to donate $1,000 to
awesome.
Either the insulin and tests area or wherever Jason and Sandy think the best use of that money would go towards.
Well, thank you, Samantha. I mean, that's pretty awesome. And Amy Powers is sending you some props here. Nice job, Samantha. Well deserved. And Linda Van Grover, congratulations on your honor. We're getting a lot of texts in. So Samantha's pretty well known in the diabetes community. Robin Askins is saying, woohoo, go Sam.
They're all the best.
So, and they keep on coming in. So, again, congratulations on being such an awesome person. And from the bottom of all of our heart, for the beneficiaries, for
I'm
kicking
sitting
off.
here because of you, Jason. I've known you for 10 years. I can't believe it.
I know. We both have gone backward in time. That's why I'm leaning kind of far from the camera, so you don't see what my boys call the stripes on my forehead. But so, again, Samantha, thank you for all along supporting us, for giving us yet another donation and kicking off our paddle raise. So, congratulations. You deserve honors every day. And it's about darn time that you're not driving the gala, but you're just enjoying it. So congrats and thank you for everything.
My pleasure.
Hey, Cherise.
Hey,
She's pretty awesome, right?
Oh my gosh. Like, I could relate to everything that she said. The power of community, the access to being able to go get what you need. And it just breaks my heart to know that there are people in the world who don't have access to things to help them make them live. They don't even have an option sometimes to even live. But next to Marjorie's fund and the work that you provide, the education, right? Because that's key. You can't give somebody a meter and insulin and tell them to go manage their diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
And how the community pays it forward. It's a true testament to your work.
Oh, yeah. And you know what, honestly, like, I think that Marjorie's fund has grown, MFund has grown well beyond Sandy and I, and we want to give some props out to our board and everybody that's involved in the organization. And again, all of you supporting us. And we want to make sure that we have, you know, we always ask because, hey, when you believe in something and you gotta, you know, you're wanting to help other people, we're always going to ask. So, you know, we're doing a paddle raise, right, Cherise? That's what we're heading on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, work it.
Okay, so let's talk about this powder raise. Can you tell us about the insulin and test strip project?
Yeah, I mean, I've been chatting my side off. The insulin test strip project is a specific project that takes place in Kasese, Uganda, which is at one of our flagship centers for the organization. And through it, we're providing insulin supplies, test strips, syringes, the whole kit and caboodle for people to be able to have the tools they need to dose and administer insulin and check their blood sugars. And it's expensive. So the reason for this project, again, is to make sure that given all of our other challenges in this past year as an organization, we don't have to cut back, but actually we can look forward and expand the number of people who are included in it. So we purchased these supplies, Cherise, locally on the ground in Uganda because we're all about sustainability with our programs. And we do have fantastic partners that we rely on for some donated supplies for others in our population. But we really want to keep, like Insulin for Life USA that we spoke of earlier, but we really want to give the chance for a footprint of supplies so that these people through economic empowerment projects can purchase their stuff locally, but until they get on their feet economically, we got to step in and make sure that they can get the stuff that they need to thrive and survive. So that's what this is about, raising money for that initiative.
Wow. So let's start off by thanking people who've already donated. So Penny Grant, Christina Peters.
Mark is an awesome guy. Mark gave $5,000. That's amazing. Thank you, Nancy and Dave. And Ricky. Ricky's always bringing it to the table. Ricky Kane Larimer, $10,000. Wow. Lori Block.
Oh my gosh, yes. And Margie, one of our fabulous board members, as is Penny. You know, we've had also a couple of others. There's Nancy and Dave.
Yeah.
Who have also donated. And I'm sorry that I couldn't get to the last name. Ernberger.
Yeah, I mean, everybody here, man. And look at it. Actually, some other ones just came in. I don't know if they're going to pop up or not because I know we're having some audio visual stuff. That's what I like about these live things, right? Like they're kind of off. You got to just roll with it, right? I like it.
There's definitely it's taught. So I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Real quick. So what does $25 get someone, or how does that help? And once again, you kind of talked about it earlier, $4,500. Can you tell us about the tiers to empower people with diabetes?
Right. Absolutely. So $25 for what can get one patient their entire testing and treatment supplies, insulin, syringes, test strips, as well as the transportation to get to the center to pick up their supplies. $4,500 will help the clinic run of 104 sessions in 1 year to get a nurse to come out, to pay for the staff, etc. So that's the range. So we're talking any amount in between goes towards a lot of different things.
And I'm actually just realizing that Nancy and Dave are the mom and pop of one of our wonderful board members, Dr. Marcy Gouldsby. So thank you, Mom and Dad.
There you go.
We love you. We appreciate it.
The name.
That's right. That's right. Oh, and we have my neighbor, Pam Jeffries, just donated. Pam, thank you. 500 big ones. That goes a huge way.
A couple of other board members, Howard Goldman, Jackie Murray. Some of there'll be a little bit of lag. And I think, Cherise, you've got where people, you're going to still direct people to where they can donate as well?
Yes. So to donate, all you have to do is visit cbo.io/d/Marjorie's, or you can text the word Marjorie's to the number 56651, and you can see it on the little orange tab at the bottom. And QR codes have come a long way in the last year. So you can just put your phone up to the QR code and it clicks you and takes you right to the website to donate. So bring those dollars. People in Uganda and KC, they need you. We need you. We need your support. Like we said, we're trying to move forward, not backwards. We're not going to let COVID allow this beautiful work that's been done to stop.
Absolutely. We want that mercury to be spilling out the top there. And I think since you've been chatting, Stephen Weber and Robin Askins, thank you guys. Awesome. Thank you for the support. We also have Jackie, one of our board members. I think Sandy mentioned generous donation. Thank you, Jackie. Oh yeah, and I'm seeing one that's come in from the Stephen and Carol Schwartz Family Foundation and Michael McCurry Rose. Thank you guys for your support of us. $3,500. That's amazing.
So we didn't talk about the goal. What is the actual goal that you're trying to raise for?
Well, this entire project costs about $50,000 for the year to help all of the beneficiaries, just say take 25 times 400 times like 12 months, like you go.
Here's the mathematician.
Many people, that we have that we're trying to help. So that's where we were.
So 50K, right? And I think Michael, thank you. Marcy, thank you. Linda Van Grover, thank you. You guys are tried and true, wonderful people. Thank you for your support. But the more, and hey, if you don't have the ability to click right now, right, Cherise, they can donate at any point, because this thermometer, it's going to keep humming.
Yes, this thermometer is going to keep humming. You can bid on the silent auction items. We will be here. We aren't going anywhere. The silent auctions will be up for 2 weeks. Also, you can always just text Marjorie's to number 56651 or go to the website cbo.io/d/Marjorie's, and we will be here. We appreciate everything that you can give. $1, $5, $25, $4,500 will all go to good use.
And remember, like I said, we want to help as many people as possible. This amount of 50,000 will help, 150, 160 people, but we want to go further. If we want to help all, we don't need to stop at 50. And I think when the thermometer catches up with all of the people that have sent in checks and all the money that's coming in, this is going to, we're so pleased by what you all are doing today.
And Zoe, thank you. And I know we're coming up to a near close of the gala, right? But I wanted to, Cherise, what do you think? Should we give people another minute? Come on, drum roll.
Yeah, let's do a drum roll. Another minute once again. You can bid on
your paddle.
Yeah, where's your paddle? Okay.
Yes.
On the silent auction at marjories.cbo.io. Yes.
Yeah.
Or you can donate now by visiting cbo.io/d/Marjorie's, or you can text the word Marjorie. I feel like I should rap it.
You should.
Go for it. Number 56651. Everybody, go donate your dollars.
I think somebody was moved here. Jay Patel just donated. I don't know. He might be trying to buy your CD.
Well, I was about to say after this, I think I might need to bring the radio show back.
I think so.
Yeah, I think
it's gotta reach more people.
Oh, we got Kristen Peters. Thank you. Oh, and you know what? Minneapolis is in the house. Hello. We got Mary Rose, who just donated. Holy moly, $2,000. Mary, thank you. From one Minneapolitan to another. Thank you.
Mary.
Amy Powers, we love you.
Amy, we love you. We love you. We love you. And also, if you got questions about that silent auction, I will tell you that Penny Kipp gave a great testimonial. She loves them. She's been auctioning or buying things off the auction for the past 10 years. Thank you, Penny, for your support, and thank you for the testimonial.
Yeah, and
had some great experiences. Calabria, Italy, Dallas, Texas, lots of different things. And I know other people who've gone on their trips who've just loved them.
Yes, and you can gift them if you can't go.
That's right. That's right. And I just wanted to again give a shout out to our board and all of our host committee members for the gala. Without you guys, this wouldn't come together. And again, props to Peter, our communications director. He's the man behind the scenes. Thank you. Props to you, Cherise. Thank you for joining us and putting up with us.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you, Cherise.
You're very welcome. And also, my dog just made a cameo.
Ooh.
Special thanks to our event sponsors, Cure Thrift, Omnipod, Diabolute, Dexcom, Novo Nordisk, Beyond Type 1, Lily. Sandy, I'm going to need your help with this one.
AgriXim, they're a Uganda-based agricultural company that is helping us with our farm project there.
Oh, wow. We didn't talk about the next time. And then Alto Pharmacy, thank you so much for all of your support.
And I want to give another big shout out to Cure Thrift Shop. Our very own board member, Liz Wolf, owns and founded it, is just doing a tremendous job and has been a huge sponsor for this event. One of our largest sponsors, and amazing, and sells some of our products.
Yeah. She's got backpacks, some textiles that are made overseas by our beneficiaries, also some artwork, right? Some of those statues of Panina. So get your butts to the Cure. It's an awesome place.
Yeah. It's tremendous.
Well, thank you, everybody.
And yeah, exactly. So all of our auction items again will be closing on Friday, 10/22, right?
So you still have time.
That's right. Get your bids in.
Get them in. Get them in. Donate.
We're gonna have to wrestle for that Jamaica trip, Cherise.
I think I'm going for Bali.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, all right. We won't have to fight so hard then.
Right. We were having so much fun. We went over a little, but we're so happy to have had all of you here attending, bidding, raising that thermometer. And Cherise, once again, thank you. And Peter, thank you.
Thank you. I'm leaning down, giving you a kiss. Mwah.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.